Nintendo achieved notable results with Mario Kart 8, and many have attempted to replicate its light-hearted recipe throughout time. Among these is Disney, which has entrusted the company to the French of Gameloft, a team that has recently given itself to some production for the main platforms but which many are familiar with for its past in the mobile sector, where it has depopulated over the years by creating clones of famous series such as Grand Theft Auto, Assassin's Creed, Tomb Raider, Need for Speed, and so on. Disney Speedstorm, the latest effort from the Transalpine software firm, is an arcade-style racing game inspired by the Grande N exclusive. Although the project is intended for a free-to-play distribution model, the creators have decided to delay the release of the final version and put it in early access, a period during which a founder's pack is required to access the servers. We obviously couldn't resist taking a tour of the enchanting world of Disney Speedstorm, and we're now ready to offer you our initial impressions of the game. Following a recent trend of such works, Disney Speedstorm does not get lost in discussion and does not even attempt to justify the furious races in which the entertainment giant's most famous characters compete. After the first launch, we obtain our free first pilot, Mickey Mouse, and are presented with a brief lesson that focuses solely on the fundamentals of the experience, movement and drift. We found it difficult to understand why the makers chose to depict the game principles with a dropper during the various single-player missions, especially given how useful it is to use all of the arrows in the challenger's bow from the start. Aside from the tutorial criticism, we must mention Gameloft's fantastic job with the humorous structure of Disney Speedstorm, which builds on all of the team's experience with Asphalt and other courses over the years. The Disney and Pixar darlings' small automobiles return a nice sensation of speed and are smooth in their maneuvers. We also loved the sensation of the drift, which serves a similar purpose to the one in Mario Kart. The drift causes the turbo gauge to charge quickly, allowing you to hurtle at full speed between opponents in an attempt to reach the finish line first. In addition to being able to take players who are close to us, the game contains the unavoidable objects that may be acquired along the road and serve various reasons. We're talking about traditional bombs, temporary shields, and fire aura, as well as lightning and boomerangs. The uniqueness of consumables lies not so much in their essence, which is, to be honest, pretty anonymous, but in the fact that they have more than one manner of usage. Any power-up can be launched in many directions and exploited with a long press of the button to activate a secondary function that is frequently completely different from the original function. The large number of currently accessible circuits is certainly to be commended, albeit we were more captivated by the visual aspect than the entertaining one. The structure of the courses lacks particular flashes, and every time you almost have the sense of competing in a reskin of the same track, despite the participation created by the successful blend of original Disney music and settings inspired by the works we have loved over the years. It is possible to notice some distinctive characteristic of a certain track, such as traps and other obstacles, from time to time, but for better or worse, they all look the same. However, the presence of blue neon tubes, if reached, allows the vehicles to take advantage of an additional opportunity. By utilizing magnetism, the racing cars hook up to these elements of the scenario and it becomes possible to perform a short grind which speeds up specific sections of the ride. There are also alternate routes that are more or less difficult to traverse, allowing you to save a few seconds in your journey time. In other words, the primary gameplay of Disney Speedstorm is rather good, but it's not all flowers for Gameloft's creation. Despite being intended at the PC and home console markets, the game inherits many of the mechanisms of free-to-play mobile games, which immediately captures the eye even when idly browsing the menus. The panels are numerous and complex, there are far too many different currencies to spend in the shop, and there is, of course, no shortage of pay-to-win techniques. But, first and foremost, the Disney Speedstorm pilots can be unlocked through fragments, as opposed to those that are awarded for free during the mode against the bots, such as Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse. This implies that in order to obtain the various characters, you must either play a lot and gather free currency to try your luck with the free loot boxes, this is a gacha, in case it wasn't clear, or spend a lot of money in the shop to earn fragments. The issue is not only that there are so many protagonists to recover, but also, and most importantly, the potential of continuing to collect their fragments in order to enhance their rarity stars and unlock their advanced skills. Without properly upgraded legendary pilots and their helpers, characters that act as equipment and are also linked to loot boxes, it becomes nearly impossible to adequately address some game components such as limited time events, advanced single-player missions, and competitive multiplayer. Balanced multiplayer is the one dimension that extends beyond microtransactions. We're talking about an online option designed expressly to address the issue of pay-to-win techniques, as the races use predefined characters with similar functionality across all participants. Players will have the same probability of winning even if they choose only one of the protagonists that are genuinely present in their roster. The introduction of balanced multiplayer is commendable, but it also indicates an admission of the existence of an imbalance in favor of those who turn to the wallet. In terms of technology, Disney Speedstorm holds its own, providing a solid frame rate and a highly nice visual depiction on PlayStation 5, thanks to the simplistic and toy graphics style reminiscent of the late Disney Infinity. The polygonal jumble of tracks and heroes will not be the most complicated, but zooming on Hercules' cart on the Mount Olympus circuit, or crossing a black and white piece of track that celebrates classic Disney glories, is undoubtedly a live experience for any self-respecting Disney fan. On the other side, the irritating shots that mark the race's opening and final stages, whether against AI-controlled bots or other players, are less enjoyable. Of course, there are moments when you are not behind the vehicle, but we believe that this scenic problem must be addressed in any situation. In short, Disney Speedstorm is a good challenger to Mario Kart, who, however, gives into the dark side, adopting a structure that is common in mobile games, with dispersive menus and microtransactions that are more than just cosmetic.